we are going to start with the 49th question. That is, we need to update the config map, and that that is used by running deployment. Okay, so that means there should be a deployment and there should be a config map, a deployment using a config map. And now we need to use a config map, change a config map, but you should not force delete the deployment or the pods. Instead, you need to recreate. I mean, it has to recreate on its own. So how is that going to happen? Let's see. Now, I need a config map, right? So I'll be just creating using. Oops, sorry. K kubectl create config map my config, and in this I am going to use from literal equals to, let's say, env equals to some water, something like that. Now this is created and I need to create a deployment. So I should use and I'm using an imperative command for this. You can use our documentation also for creating the deployment. Create deployment my dep, and I am using hyphen hyphen image. It's equal to nginx 1.21, and I'm using replicas to be as 3, and I am not going to um, create it just now, but okay, so there are two ways. Okay, so you can create right away and you can use set env command for deployment. Otherwise, you can use YAML file of this, like you can just do hyphen hyphen dry run equals client hyphen o YAML, that will be saved into my dep dot YAML, and I'm going to this mydep.yaml, and inside this, under the spec, I'm going to use it as env from right inside the container. So like this. Okay, and now this config map, I guess it should be with a tab space here, and name also. The name of this config map, let's take it as my config because that is the name we have given. I hope so. And now I'm going to save this. So if I see, just want to verify the name if it is correct. My config is what we have given. That's fine. So now I'm going to apply the deployment. Now the deployment is also created. What I'm going to do is, as part of the question, I need to edit a config map, right? So CKAD config map, my config map. So inside this, under the data section, I need to give it as app. Okay. So now the we need to understand one thing here, that is, since we are not using volumes, right, the changes will not be automatically loaded into the deployment, that it will not take on its own. So we need to either recreate the pods, or we need to either restart the deployment. So for that, what we are going to do, as part of our question, we need not to delete the pod, so we need to restart it. So what I will do, k rollout restart. How do I know rollout has the uh, sub commands? Like you can use hyphen hyphen help. Under this can be used under deployments, daemon sets, and stateful sets, and we have available commands like this. So one of the commands is what I'm going to do, is restart. So restart a resource. A resource can be anything like deployment or a pod, something like that. So deployment, which deployment I need, made up, and I'm going to restart it. I can also see the history of this. So I will remove the restart and give this here as history now. The revision history hyphen revision equals to 2. Now it's going to show me what is the change here is nothing has changed. Let's see. So it's just it is showing that, but basically if you restart it, right, it will consider the the recently edited config map. In order to see that, let's take get pods, and there are 3 pods currently running. And if I want to exec one of the pods and check, let's say exec hyphen it mydep of something like this hyphen sh. Okay, so there are lots of you know things here. What I'm going to do is etc config. So let's take oopsie ct etc. Is it not working? Okay, it's working. Weird. Okay. Config map. Okay. CD space. I don't see config map here. Do you see it anywhere? Okay, it's not showing here. Or is there any file like vi config? No, man. Hmm. Okay, let's search using this. Config map is mounted as a volume. Mount it in the volume and you will get like this. Okay. Print env key. Okay. So I'll just use print env command. And let's exit from here first of all. Equals to print env and key value. Okay, what is the key value we used? Env, right? Water app, yeah. So this pods are taking the updated one only. So I think we are good with this. Let's also check in the other pods. So if one pod is taking that, and definitely it is will also be taking it. So no matter what, uh, K Q. So yeah, our config map is updated, and after rolling restart, this is actually taking it. Let's do one more thing, right? I want to edit the config map, my config, and I want to give now as the something like air. Okay, just randomly. Okay, now I want to see the pods now. I think they are the same, and if I see that it's not taking right, yeah, no. Okay, so now again we need to do rollout restart and deployment, which is my dep. Now, if you see the history, it would have given the third revision. And if you see the number of pods, the pods are also with a different name now. So if you exec into one pod, 7, oh, this is entirely different now. 4, 6, okay, now it got restarted and it is taking the value. So I think we are good. So in this, right, in this question, we have explored how to change the config map and how are we going to apply that to the deployments without removing the pods or without recreating the deployment. We have verified it using the command hyphen env print env, right? So print env and then env. So this env is the key which I have given in the config map file. Okay, so then what else? I think we are good, but I just want to show what are the different variations in exams which I'm expecting to come is like related to this question is um, ensure application picks new config automatically. So if they ask like this, we can use rollout restart deployment that command. And second way is config map value should reflect without restarting the pods. So without even restarting also we need a value should reflect means we should use a volume mounts. We know, right? Like in the last sections how are we using the volumes and volume mounts. So that way we have to do. Third, they can ask like ensure pods are restarted automatically when config map changes. So for that, for particular pods, if it has to get restarted, then we can do patch kubectl patch deployment command we can use and respective annotations we can use. Okay, this is also another way. We'll see that later and if the time permits. So then we have okay, so these are like different other things which we have already done. And use one key from config map, all keys from secrets. So one specific key if you want, you can use env. All the keys means you can use env from. Okay, if there are multiple keys, you can use env from. And mounted config map not updating immediately means you should do rolling restart as now we have done. Immutable config map, let's say the config map is not editable, that means it will have in the section and it's feel like immutable is equal to true. Okay, you need to check that using edit config map or view as a YAML file. Then you will be seeing that immutable equals to true in that config map. Then it will not be editable, then you need to delete that config map and recreate it. Then you need to do a rollout restart of the deployment. Now if that says a config map not found error, you need to check whether that is present, all the key values are fine. If not, you need to create it. Update config map without downtime, you need to recreate it, I mean restart the deployment, then it will get recreated automatically without any downtime. Okay, so That's all from this question. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.